The world is watching as something extraordinary unfolds on African soil. This is not just an opening ceremony, it is a declaration that Africa is stepping into a new era of transportation powered by innovation, courage, and vision. Tonight, history is being written with the unveiling of Africa's first self-powered electric train, a marvel that does not rely on overhead lines, coal, or diesel. A creation born out of the mind of Maxwell Sangulani Chikumbutso, a man many once called a dreamer, but who now stands as a disruptor of global technology. The stage is glowing with lights, the crowd is roaring, and cameras from around the world are focused on this single groundbreaking moment. The air carries both excitement and disbelief. How can a train move without conventional fuel, without connection to a power grid, without the endless cost of charging or refueling? The answer is embedded in RF technology, a science once dismissed as impossible, but now proving its place in the real world. This train generates its own energy, harvesting radio frequencies from the environment and converting them into usable power. No wires, no fuel tanks, no dependence on unstable energy markets, just pure, self-sustaining innovation rolling down the tracks of Africa. The crowd gasps as the massive train hums to life. Its lights flicker on, brighter than the flashbulbs of thousands of cameras. Children in the audience look at their parents, eyes wide, as if witnessing magic. But this is not magic. This is science, innovation, and vision. This is the birth of a transportation revolution. The announcer's voice echoes through the stadium, calling out the name of Maxwell Chikumbutso. He steps onto the stage, a humble figure carrying the weight of history on his shoulders. Behind him, the massive self-powered train stands like a metallic beast ready to awaken. Maxwell raises his hand, the audience rises to its feet, and the train begins to move. No smoke, no roar of combustion, only a steady, silent glide powered by invisible waves of energy. People cheer, wave flags, and cry tears of pride. This is Africa proving to the world that innovation is not tied to geography or resources. It is tied to courage and imagination. The first journey of this train is not just symbolic. It is functional, powerful, and long-lasting. The RF technology driving it can sustain continuous movement without depleting fuel. It charges itself as it goes, an infinite loop of power generation and consumption. Engineers and scientists in the crowd are stunned. Many spent years dismissing Chikumbutso's claims as impossible. And yet, here it is, undeniable, running before their eyes. This is not a prototype hidden in a lab. It is a real, tangible machine big enough to carry hundreds of passengers. And it is alive. The camera pans to the tracks stretching into the distance. This train is not meant to stay still. It is meant to connect cities, communities, and nations. It is meant to cut travel costs, slash emissions, and redefine Africa's role in the technological world. For decades, Africa was seen as a consumer of technology. Now it is the birthplace of something the rest of the world will rush to replicate. The announcer speaks of independence. He speaks of breaking chains that tied Africa to oil imports, foreign tech, and outdated infrastructure. He speaks of a train that is more than transport. It is freedom. Maxwell looks out at the crowd, and for a moment there is silence. Then he speaks softly but firmly. This train belongs to Africa. It belongs to the world. It belongs to the future. The words send waves of applause rippling through the audience. For many, this is the first time they believe Africa is not just catching up with the rest of the world. It is leading. The train's doors open, and dignitaries step inside for the maiden voyage. The cameras follow every step, capturing history. Inside, the cabin glows with futuristic lighting, screens showing the self-powered systems in motion. Passengers whisper in disbelief as the train begins to accelerate smoothly. There is no shake, no tremor, only quiet confidence. The crowd outside erupts as the train glides forward. Africa's first self-powered electric train is moving on its own. Every meter it covers is a statement to doubters, to skeptics, to critics who said it couldn't be done. The journey is short for the ceremony, but symbolic for the ages. The world is now forced to ask a question it has long avoided. If energy can be harvested from radio frequencies, what else is possible? If a train can move without charging or refueling, what about cars, buses, planes, ships? The possibilities stretch far beyond imagination. This opening ceremony is not just about a train. It is about a new way of living, a new energy ecosystem. The audience knows it, and the global media knows it too. This is a ripple that will shake industries, governments, and corporations. Because if one man from Zimbabwe can do this, what excuse do the rest of the world's billion-dollar companies have? The announcer explains how the RF system was integrated. Small, hidden receivers capture ambient radio frequency energy. The train's conversion system turns it into electrical power. Supercapacitors and batteries store the energy for bursts of acceleration. It is a loop that never ends as long as radio waves exist in the environment. And radio waves exist everywhere. From the Earth's natural frequencies to communication signals, energy is all around us. The train is simply the first to fully harness it. As the ride continues, journalists on board type furiously on their laptops. They know headlines will shake the internet tomorrow. Self-powered train shocks the world. Africa leads in energy innovation. Chikumbutso's impossible dream becomes reality. The outside crowd watches giant screens showing the inside of the train. They see dignitaries laughing, clapping, taking photos. It looks like a scene from a science fiction movie, but it is reality happening now. The announcer calls this the day Africa rewrote the rules of transportation. The moment echoes like thunder through the hearts of millions watching worldwide. For a long time, the West controlled narratives of innovation, but tonight, Africa is telling its own story. The first self-powered electric train does not belong to Silicon Valley or Europe. It belongs to Africa, and it is running on tracks laid with hope, ambition, and vision. The train glides back into the station, greeted by a sea of cheering people. Cameras flash, drones fly overhead, the celebration is unstoppable. Children wave mini flags with the train's design printed on them. Elders cry tears of joy, whispering prayers of gratitude. Engineers bow their heads in awe, realizing the textbooks must now be rewritten. The ceremony concludes with fireworks painting the night sky, but no firework shines brighter than the glowing train still humming silently on the tracks. Maxwell Chikumbutso steps forward once more, his voice calm yet powerful. "This is just the beginning," he says, and the world knows he means it. Because if a train can power itself forever, the limits of human progress have just been shattered, and tonight Africa is the one holding the torch. The music swells as the crowd chants Maxwell's name. It feels less like a ceremony and more like the coronation of a new age. In the front row, young students wave placards that read, "Free energy, free future." They understand more than anyone what this moment means. This is about them, their generation, their tomorrow. For years, Africa has struggled under power shortages and unreliable infrastructure. Blackouts became normal, limiting progress, education, and healthcare. But this train is proof that the continent's future does not have to mirror its past. It is a physical manifestation of liberation from scarcity. Parents in the crowd hold their children higher as if showing them the future they will inherit. The train's engineers are honored on stage, faces glowing with pride. They explain how years of work and countless trials led to this successful unveiling. They speak of failures, setbacks, and ridicule, but every obstacle became fuel for determination. The project was not funded by giant corporations, but by vision, sacrifice, and belief. And now that belief has taken form in steel and motion. The crowd listens as one engineer describes the RF conversion unit. She says it is compact, scalable, and adaptable to many forms of transportation. Her words spark a realization in the audience. If this technology can power a train, it can power almost anything. A murmur runs through the crowd, excitement mixed with shock. They understand that tonight's unveiling is only the first domino to fall. Buses without fuel, planes without jet engines, ships without oil. A ripple effect waiting to transform industries. But first, the train must prove itself beyond ceremony. A real journey across real distance is planned for the days ahead. From one city to another, through mountains and plains, the train will show its endurance, and the world will watch again, waiting for it to fail or to succeed. But tonight is not about skepticism, it is about celebration. The announcer calls for silence as a recorded message plays. On the giant screen above the station, images of Africa's landscapes fill the night sky. Savannas, rivers, deserts, cities glowing with lights. The message says this train is built for all of Africa, to connect remote villages to cities, to bring trade and opportunity to regions cut off by geography, to bridge distances without burdening the environment. It is not just a machine, it is a unifier. The crowd applauds and the camera catches the tears in Maxwell's eyes. He knows what it took to reach this point. Years of rejection, warnings, even threats. Big industries saw his inventions as a danger to their profits, but he refused to stop. He refused to let fear kill innovation. And now the train stands as proof that resilience outlasts resistance. The announcer invites school children aboard for a symbolic ride. Their small hands press buttons, their laughter fills the cabin. They don't question how it works. They only accept that it does. For them, this is not impossible. It is normal, the way things should be. The train hums gently, taking them a short distance and back. The children wave proudly from the windows as the crowd cheers. It is a glimpse of the future riding on innocence and wonder. Meanwhile, the world outside Africa is already buzzing. News anchors broadcast live. Tech analysts debate whether this is real or an elaborate show. Investors scramble to understand what it means for global markets. If energy can be made free, trillions of dollars in industries are at stake. Oil, coal, gas, even renewable energy companies feel the tremor, because a train that powers itself forever breaks every business model. It eliminates scarcity, and scarcity is what much of the world's economy was built on. But here, on African soil, abundance has just been born. The announcer returns to the microphone. He says, "This is not a secret we will keep for ourselves." His words echo as the crowd holds its breath. He declares that Africa is ready to share this knowledge with the world, not to hoard it, not to sell it at impossible prices, but to share it for the good of humanity. The crowd roars with pride. It is a radical statement in a world driven by patents and profit. But it fits the spirit of tonight. This is not just an invention, it is a gift. Outside the ceremony grounds, streets are packed with people watching on giant screens. Families clap, cars honk, music blares from loudspeakers. It feels like a national festival. In homes across Africa, televisions glow with the same images. Some watch in disbelief. Others smile and whisper prayers of gratitude. Everyone feels the weight of history. The announcer announces the official first public route. The train will travel from the capital city to a neighboring province tomorrow, hundreds of kilometers without stopping for fuel. It will carry passengers, goods, and above all, hope. Tickets sold out within hours of the announcement. People want to say they were there on the first journey of a self-powered train. And as the fireworks continue to light the sky, the night becomes one of pride and unity. Maxwell stays humble, speaking few words, but his presence alone speaks volumes. He knows this is bigger than him. It is bigger than the team that built it. It is a story for Africa and for humanity. As the ceremony winds down, the train glows under floodlights. Its sleek body reflects the night sky. People walk up to touch it, take photos beside it, whisper to each other. To them, it feels alive, almost like a creature breathing in silence. Because for the first time, a machine is no longer chained to fuel. It is free, and that freedom will change everything. The announcer thanks the guests, the engineers, the children, the leaders. He thanks Maxwell for his courage, and he thanks the people of Africa for believing. The closing music swells, a mixture of traditional drums and futuristic synths. It is a blend of heritage and vision, the perfect soundtrack for a continent rewriting its future. As the ceremony ends, the crowd slowly disperses, but their hearts remain full. They know they witnessed something that will be remembered for centuries. The world will talk about it, debate it, and perhaps even fear it. But no one can deny it anymore. The self-powered train is real, and it was born in Africa. The night sky grows quiet, but the hum of the train continues. It is not just a machine waiting for orders, it is the pulse of a revolution that has already begun. Somewhere in the crowd, a young boy whispers to his father, "Will I get to ride it one day?" The father smiles, tears in his eyes. "Yes, son. One day you will ride it everywhere." And with that promise, the night closes, but the journey begins.